Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with a really surprising re-release. My goodness, the major labels are really digging into the archives. The Lewis Lane Cleveland People, Cleveland Orchestra, Cleveland Pops, Cleveland Sinfonietta box. Now, who was Lewis Lane? Lewis Lane was one of those sort of like second-tier conductors, and I don't mean second-tier by talent or ability. I mean second-tier by he was local. He had a rather quiet career, but a good career, a distinguished career. There's actually like a little timeline of what he did in here, and it's pretty remarkable because he was always around. You may remember him most from his Telarc recordings with the Atlanta Symphony and various things like that, because that's where he was at the time. But let me see. It's a very nice tribute to his artistry. I mean, he passed away, I think, in 2005, and all of these recordings were made between 1958 and 1970, when he was Szell's assistant. Yes, associate conductor of the Cleveland Orchestra or whatever he was with Szell, which is like pretty cool because it was like, well, I mean, the Cleveland Orchestra was amazing then, and whoever conducted them, they were always amazing, because if they weren't amazing, Szell would have killed them. I mean, he was extremely concerned. Remember when Stravinsky made those mono recordings in Cleveland, and they played fabulously, absolutely fabulously, because if they didn't, Szell would have killed them. You know, he was very concerned that they always do their best, no matter who was in front of them, and not embarrass him. See, there he is. There he is with Szell. There is a timeline in here somewhere. There's a chronology. I don't know, but I don't know where it went. It was in the booklet here. But the fact of the matter is, he conducted in Cleveland. He conducted in Atlanta. I believe he conducted in Houston. And he made a good bit of recordings. He was the pop guy for Cleveland for a while. And all of those recordings are in here, plus some other discs of serious music. One of which is rather well known, actually. He was very talented. His interpretive profile was kind of swift and perky, and very flexible. And he was just really good. And so, if you like the Cleveland Orchestra under Szell, you'll want to hear this under Lewis Lane. And it's sort of like, you know, everybody says the same thing. Dochnani used to say, you know, I give a good concert, Szell gets a great review. That's what happened. That's how strong Szell was, personality-wise. But let's talk about what's on these discs, and you can decide if you want them. And not all the performances are great. And like I said, you know, the pop stuff is pop stuff. But, you know, I wanted it for the orchestra, at least. And then I appreciated Lewis Lane as well. For his considerable artistry. I did. So we begin with Pop Concert USA. So a lot of American music here, some of which is quite unusual, which is really great. Morton Gould's American Salute, Leroy Anderson's Serenata, Copland's 4 dance episodes from Rodeo, although you only get 3. Bernstein's Candide Overture, Piston's The Incredible Flutist, with the Cleveland Orchestra and the Cleveland Pops Orchestra. It's the same thing. It really is. I'm kind of amazed that, you know, some of these things were even done, because I had no idea. These were recordings that had been out of print for so long. And, of course, the Cleveland Pops stuff, which probably did quite well in Cleveland, was from a discographic point of view, hugely overwhelmed by Arthur Fiedler and the Boston Pops, and there was like Castellanets, and there were all these other people doing Pops concerts. So, you know, what chance did Lewis Lane have? But the orchestra is the orchestra. Then the second disc is Pop Concert Latin America. Yay! I love these things. Gershwin's Cuban Overture, Bernstein's Danzón from Fancy Free, Morton Gould's Guaracha from the Latin American Symphonette, Arthur Benjamin from San Domingo and the Jamaican Rumba, Ernesto Lecuona, Andalucias from Sweet Española and Malagueña. Mozart Camargo Guarnieri, I love him. The Brazilian composer, the Dança Brasileira. Villa-Lobos, the Toccata from Bachianas Brasileiras, number 2, the little train, you know, the choo-choo. And Blas Galindo's Sones de Mariachi, I mean, it's all the usual stuff, but it's no less lovely for that. On the Town with the Cleveland Pops, Cole Porter's Can, Frederick Lowe Embassy Waltz, Bernstein, 3 dance episodes from On the Town, Richard Rogers waltzes, 4 of them, and then the March of the Siamese Children from The King and I, and Slaughter on 10th Avenue. Wow. Music for a Golden Flute. This is a wonderful record with flutist Maurice Sharp. You have the Griffiths poem for flute and orchestra, Arthur Foote's A Night Piece for flute and string orchestra, Honegger's Concerto da Camera for flute, English horn, and string orchestra, with let's see, Harvey Maguire, English horn, Howard Hanson's Serenade for flute, harp, and string orchestra, with the great Alice Chalifou, harpist, with the Cleveland Sinfonietta. These are all members of the Cleveland Orchestra. Wow, that's a great program. Flute people, boy, oh boy, if you're a flute person. Then we have symphonic marches. Well, it's the usual culprits, right? The Berlioz Hungarian March, the Rakoczy March from The Damnation of Faust, Schubert's March Militaire No. 1, the Hindemith, the finale for the Symphonic Metamorphoses, which Szell recorded. This one is quicker. Quite a bit quicker, actually. Pierre Ney's entrance of the adorable little fawns from Cydalise et le Chèvre Pied. And Elgar's Pomp and Circumstance, Rimsky-Korsakov's Introduction and Wedding Procession from Le Coq d'Or, Ippolito Ivanov's Procession of the Sardar from Caucasian Sketches, and Tchaikovsky's March Slav, which is here called Slavonic March. There are no repeats. He didn't do repeats, this guy. The Pomp and Circumstance, the opening repeats, not here. March Slav, the coda repeats, not here. It's okay. It's okay. Music from films. Howard Rome, Fantasy, the theme from, Fanny, there we go. Frederick Lowe's Gigi, Orchestral Suite. Rogers, It Might As Well Be Spring. Ernest Gold, Exodus, from the motion picture. Kenneth Alford's Colonel Bogey from The Bridge on the River Kwai, which actually has an excellent score by Malcolm Arnold, who wrote all the tunes but the one people care about. William Walton, 2 bits from Henry V, and Virgil Thompson's Acadian Songs and Dances from the Louisiana Story. It's another little rare item. Music for Young America. Copland, Outdoor Overture, Menotti, Amal and the Night Visitors Suite. Who knew? That's nice. Some instrumental music. Wallingford Rieger's Dance Rhythms. That's cool. Herbert Elwell's The Happy Hypocrite Suite. When was the last time you heard that? Arthur Shepard, The Old Chisholm Trail with the Cleveland Pops. This is actually a wonderful disc, too, of sort of unusual Americana. Tchaikovsky Waltzes from Sleeping Beauty, The Nutcracker, Swan Lake, The Serenade for Strings, and Eugene Onegin. Then it's also coupled with Debussy's Petite Suite, the Ravel Introduction and Allegro, with Maurice Sharp and Robert Marcellus and Alice Chalifou. Ooh, wow, what a lineup. And Satie's Gymnopédies 3-in-1, orchestrated by Debussy with the Cleveland Orchestra. Yay! Romances and Serenades. Vaughan Williams, The Lark Ascending with Raphael Drurian. That's been out on various Vaughan Williams collections on Sony. Sibelius Romance in C Major. Jean Francais, Serenade for Small Orchestra. Delius's Serenade from Hassan. Peter Warlock's Serenade for String Orchestra. Lovely program. Very well put together program. Rhapsody. Chabrier, a rather stiff and uninteresting España. Alfin's Swedish Rhapsody No. 1 and Escu Romanian Rhapsody No. 1. Also, not a patch on some of the more authentic ones. Let's put it that way. Victor Herbert's Irish Rhapsody. That's a beautiful work, and that's great to have. And the Liszt Hungarian Rhapsody No. 2. Let's see, what else have we got here? Mozart, Divertimento No. 17 with the Cleveland Orchestra. That's it. Just the Mozart Divertimento No. 17 for violins, viola, bass, and 2 horns. Lovely work that no one ever does. So that's nice to hear, and it's a beautiful performance. Mendelssohn Symphony No. 1 with the orchestrated scherzo from the octet as an appendix. And Schubert Symphony No. 1 with the Cleveland Orchestra. Also very nice performances. I mean, Szell wouldn't let Lane overlap stuff that he was going to do anyway, more or less, I think, is what happened here. So Lane had his opportunity. And then CD 13, well, this is wonderful. Beethoven, the Complete Creatures of Prometheus. That's the one that sort of was out there for a while because there were not many recordings of the complete Beethoven Creatures of Prometheus. And so this one was like sort of the only show in town for a while, unless you got like complete Beethoven things. And then Walton. This is a great disc 14. Walton, The Wise Virgins. Walton arrangement. It's an arrangement of Bach. It's Bach stuff. Tomasini's The Good-Humored Ladies, which is based on Scarlatti. So those two ballets with the Cleveland Orchestra from 1970. Marvelous, marvelous stuff. So there you go. It's really mostly wonderful, and it depends on what you like. And here's the chronology. I knew it was here somewhere. So let me just tell you what he did, because it's really quite extraordinary. He was the pianist and principal keyboardist in Cleveland from 1947 to 61. Szell originally hired him when he was in this sort of young artist development thing, which Szell discontinued because he said none of the candidates were good enough. But he kept Louis Lane. He kept him on and had very nice things to say about him, actually. So that's what he did. And he was the conductor of the Canton Symphony Orchestra in Canton, Ohio, from 1949 to 61. And the Akron Symphony from 1959 to 1983. He was associate conductor in Cleveland from 1960 to 70. Music director of the Lake Erie Opera Theater from 1964 to 72. He taught everywhere, all over the place. He was resident conductor in Cleveland from 1970 to 74. Then he was at Dallas, not Houston, I'm sorry. The Dallas Symphony from 1974 to 77, where he rebuilt them after they went completely bust. And then the Atlanta Symphony, he was co-conductor with Robert Shaw from 1977 to 88. And so then he was at the South African Broadcasting Corporation for principal conductor for a few years, and teaching at the Cleveland Institute, the University of Texas, Oberlin Conservatory, and he passed away in 2016, rather recently, in Ohio. So, one of those quiet voices who didn't have epic careers, but who nevertheless had extremely good ones. Really, he was busy, he was talented. This is probably not representative of everything he could do, but it was what he was allowed to do. And I'm very grateful to Sony for digging it all up and boxing it up. That's nifty. And Cleveland Orchestra fans, my God, you're going to want to have this as a matter of course. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.